Hello and welcome to New Perspective አዲስቅኝት Media.
New Perspective አዲስቅኝት Media is a Toronto-based digital and broadcasting media outlet that focuses on immigration, literature and art, community and culture.
If you have comments, questions or suggestions, please email us at addisqinyit@gmail.com or call us at 647-761-7252.
You can listen to our weekly live radio on iHeartRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and download our app. Please visit our website at www.addisperspective.com. We are very happy to have you, and this is a very one of the first series of our introductory session about financial issues and investment. So I have some questions, and hopefully you'll give us a detailed answer for each of our questions. And before we start the question, tell us about yourself and Edward Jones.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I enjoy talking about our services and our company. Edward Jones has been around for about 100 years this year, actually. We are a financial services company centered here in North America. We've obviously got a much bigger operation south of the border in the US, but we are here in Canada, and we have been for the past 35 years. I may start. My name is Oran Boyle, and as you had mentioned, I've been a financial advisor for the last 22 years. Recently came over to Edward Jones about 3 years ago, after working with a couple of other financial services firms here in Canada. So what Edward Jones does and what I do with my clients is, first of all, figure out what are people's goals. What is it that why are they saving? Why do they want to save? Why do what is the reason that they came to me? And people will come to me, for different reasons, whether, they're trying to buy a house, they're trying to retire successfully, they're trying to put their kids through school or planning to put their kids through university, whether they want to plan for the unexpected, such as an untimely illness or an untimely death in the family. All of these things can be addressed with a financial plan, and that's what we would eventually draw up for our clients when we sit down, get some information from them, quite a bit of information actually, with regards to their own personal situation, what their job aspirations are, what their future aspirations are, and we would provide a written financial plan. Really is just a part of our due diligence in terms of understanding our clients, and then work with our clients over the years to make sure that they're following up on their responsibilities in terms of making sure that this plan works, because it does take two parties for this to happen. I would provide the advice as to what needs to be done, and folks need to follow through with that in terms of their savings and putting money away, or committing to the financial plan.
Interesting. As you know, Canada is receiving a lot of refugees and newcomers every year. So the newcomers don't have a clue how the financial system is working, so they need some kind of advice and support. So my first question is, what do you know? What do new Canadians to know about the financial and investment here in their new home?
Well, when one comes to Canada, again, you're coming from a situation. If you know you're coming as a refugee, I think there's sort of more important issues than some of the the issues that I talk to Canadians about in terms of financial planning, and that's making sure that you have access to good financial advice, but also advice with regards to what is available to them, as Canadian residents. When they're coming to a country, they have to know how the tax situation works, how social services works. There is a lot of government organizations that can help with that. But once one becomes settled and they have a job and they can start thinking about those longer term financial goals, they need to understand that there are several different types of financial institutions that will work with you. Most people will historically have gone to one of the 5 big Canadian chartered banks. Most people are familiar with them: Royal Bank, Scotia Bank, Bank of Montreal. For those, you can really just walk in to those institutions, and they will, open a bank account for you. A lot of new Canadians, the big issue for them is just history here in Canada, developing a credit rating. A credit rating is your ability to one of the factors when trying to borrow money for a house for example. That takes time, and again, some of the things that are there, that there is, that those financial institutions will help you develop that. With getting a new Canadian credit card, for example, just something that's going to provide a history of being able to repay certain things. The other the other things that we want to be aware of, and a great instrument to use is a tax-free savings account. A tax-free savings account is available to all Canadians. With regards to savings, it allows you to save money without it being taxed by the government. The other things that we want to understand is, do you have enough protection? If you were the breadwinner or the person that makes the money in the family, you should be doing something to protect that, because your ability to make an income throughout your life is actually your biggest asset. So if you weren't there, what we want to do is make sure that if something happened to you, that there would be adequate protection for your loved ones. There's a lot of places that we can send people to with regards to information on how to do your homework and really find out. What we can do is perhaps leave some of those links in your broadcast, after your broadcast. And certainly what we can do is, in further interviews, we can just drill down and go into some of these things more specific.
Do you have any program? Is there any specific date for a newcomer to start financial planning? I mean, in terms of time, when is the right time to start financial planning as a newcomer?
I will say yesterday.
Oh, so there is no time.
Anytime. I think once one starts to have some savings that they have in their pocket, that they don't need for emergency funds or things like that. I think when you first come to Canada, what you really should be doing is looking at having 3 to 6 months income in the bank if something happens, we're not going to be dependent on the government to assist us, and that isn't going to come very quickly, even if it's workman's compensation or something like that. We want to make sure that we have enough in our bank account that we're not going to run into major problems initially. Once you've got that in your those savings in your pocket or in your bank, we can start to think about putting a certain amount away every month. And really how that looks like is you draw up what are you spending in any given month on average, and we have some tools to help people calculate that. And once you've gone through that, you're going to say to yourself, listen, this is what we're going to spend and this is what we're going to save. And that is really how we are going to be able to make sure that we're saving enough every month. Paying yourself first is what we like to say, and then what we can do is once we build up enough assets, we can start investing for the longer term. And there's a lot of different products out there, such as mutual funds, exchange traded funds, individual stocks, fixed income products like guaranteed investment certificates, or corporate or government bonds. There's lots of different things that we can invest in, but we would want to understand what risk people are willing to take, whether they've got a long-term view or a short-term view. If this is something for that I want to buy a house in 3 years, or I want to be able to retire in 30 years. We're going to, approach those two things differently. So, yeah, I think now is the time. Again, it would be important that, we get all the information together, such as tax returns, current investments, if you've got a work benefits, but also just for us to understand what money is available every month for you to save. So those are some important things that we would want to know.
Is there that magical number or ideal number that how much percent of your income that you save? Is there a ratio for it, or just you save according to your?
I think really everyone is different, and it depending on one's income and depending on one's lifestyle and one's financial commitments. If somebody has 4 children to support, and they've got their their mother living with them as well, that person is going to have more financial commitments than somebody who is just either single or married with no children. It's really going to depend on how much they have available at the end of the month. If you save 10% of your income, throughout your life, I think you'd be doing wonderfully well, even if you've got a fairly low income. But people with lower incomes don't, they have more of their income goes to those necessities. So it really just depends. But I think 10% to 20%, that could be something that really would do wonders for your long-term financial security. But some people can only save 5%. It really just depends on everyone's unique circumstances.
You're watching New Perspective Media. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for being with us.
Do you have any program that focuses on newcomers, new Canadians, or historically marginalized communities? I mean, there are historical problems, there are financial challenges, both these newcomers brought from their past experience.
Absolutely.
or they face in their new country. So.
Yeah, in terms of specific programs for those, I would, whether somebody, has got, a small amount of savings or a large amount of savings, I'm going to ask really those same questions. What we do with do with that is going to be, different for, for each person. But I would tend to direct them, towards just understanding, what it is that they need to do to, get into a stable situation. I certainly don't mind, speaking with people that, are just new to Canada. They're going to have, more immediate pressing needs that may be, able to be addressed by, some government services. But there's certain things that I can do just in terms of, either assisting them myself or one of our other financial institutions here, in Canada. A lot of the, as I said, a lot of the banks, the big banks are there with, new Canadian credit cards that they can provide, those types of initial, financial services. But, I think, again, it depends on the situation. I would talk to, everyone specifically in terms of, what they're looking at, and direct them, to, the appropriate place, whether it's, another financial institution or, a government program or something like that. But, specifically, is there a refugee program that we have here? Not that I'm aware of, but we certainly, welcome everyone to speak and deal with this. They need to be a resident of Canada in order for us to open up a financial arrangement with them. We can't invest like money, from people overseas. But, that being said, we do have a lot of resources. Everyone's got their own, unique financial situation, and we're always willing to speak and help with people, even if they have, very simple questions. We can certainly address those, and we're always willing to refer people to other institutions that may be of more assistance to them in terms of their daily needs, like a checking account. I don't do simple checking accounts or savings accounts. That's something that we would leave to the banks. But if somebody wants to invest for the longer term, those are definitely things that we can assist with. We can also, assist with, having adequate life insurance, adequate disability insurance, critical illness insurance, and also, helping people save for their child's education. A registered education savings plan, will give for every dollar that you put into it, the government does a 20% grant to help you save for your child's education. Same thing with an RRSP, or a registered retirement plan. We can you would get money back from the government for putting money into a plan like that. So there's a lot of government assistance when you're doing financial planning, because the government there, is there wanting to, make sure that you are saving for your future. So we're certainly happy to speak with everyone, but we may not be the the financial institution for everyone.
This is New Perspective አዲስቅኝት Media.
Okay, as you know, this is a very challenging time in terms of economics, and we have been the inflation. How do people plan their financial future and their investment in such a time?
Well, what I will say is that if we took a look historically at our economy, our world economy, going back to World War II, there has been an event or something happening constantly. The world is always in turmoil. So if one would look at the world, we're looking at now like the Russia Ukraine issue and all that those issues that come along with that a good part of Africa is dependent on wheat exports from that region. I think if we looked at that today, a lot of people would say, I'm not going to invest. But there has been a problem in the world every year, going back to 1950. I think the thing to do is really just ignore a lot of the noise that is going out there, and really just looking at investing, for the long term. I think what one needs to do is just answer to themselves, what risk am I willing to take, and what we would do is we would set up a portfolio that aligns with your time horizon. Again, we talked about is the money that we're saving for in the shorter midterm, is it 2 to 3 years down the road, or is it 30 years down the road? The longer term the investment is, the more that we can ignore the all the current news. But again, would we look at investing differently this year as opposed to last year or the year before? I think again, we just need to understand what is the money, what is the purpose of why you're saving the money, understanding that a bit more. There are lots of conservative investments out there, such as guaranteed investment certificates that one doesn't need to take on undue risk because that return is guaranteed. They are lower, over the long term in terms of returns than other types of investments, like investing in the stock market. But if one needed the money sooner, we're not going to take on any undue risk that would potentially leave somebody with less money than they had to start with. So that's really our responsibility, and just in terms of understanding what the time horizon is, understanding the current investment climate. That does always change, but I would say that more importantly, it's what's going on with that individual person than what's going on in the world, because there's always something going on in the world, and there will continue to always be something that would make us think twice about investing, but there's always a solution depending on your own unique situation.
Okay, Boyle, that's really a wonderful explanation. I hope this is all we have for our introductory session. Hopefully we will continue our conversation, and we will collect questions from the community members, from our listeners and viewers. Then, depending on their questions, you will provide the answers.
Absolutely. They can certainly feel free to email me or call me. My email address is oran.boyle@edwardjones.com. Maybe what we can do is leave that in the in the details of this link.
We can scroll it in our screen, so
absolutely. You can certainly visit our website. Just take a look at, what else we do for our clients. But on that front, I'd certainly be more than happy and spend a bit more time in the future, discussing each one of these issues that I had mentioned, such as, budgeting, saving for, specific things such as, home buying, saving for education, saving for retirement. Those we can certainly spend more time on those, because they really deserve, some more information on each of those topics.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much for your time and for this wonderful information. And
absolutely,
we will meet soon again.
It's been a pleasure.
New Perspective አዲስቅኝት Media is a Toronto-based digital and broadcasting media outlet that focuses on immigration, literature and art, community and culture.
If you have comments, questions or suggestions, please email us at addisቅኝት@gmail.com or call us at 647-761-7252.
You can listen to our weekly live radio on iHeartRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and download our app. Please visit our website at www.addisperspective.com.